All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Craft Your LinkedIn Profile for networking. So today's February 6th. This is the second presentation I am making. Very excited to have everyone here. And the purpose of this presentation is really to get you, ready, confident, feeling good about your LinkedIn profile so that you can proceed to do networking. And as we know, networking is very helpful in job search, in growing your practice, in, advocating for yourself within the workplace. So this is why I'm doing it. So I want to give you the information and then, yeah, you can go for it. I also want to say that there are different new features in this, LinkedIn profile. I just did some research for this program, and you don't have to hit everything 100%. This is important. You don't have to hit everything, that it's offering, but that you need to feel comfortable and happy and good about what you have. Because, don't let this stop you from the networking. Okay. Okay, so the agenda. So I started to introduce myself again. I have 25 years in career coaching and working with job seekers as well as career builders who are looking to advance. And I know this is also a time where a lot of people are looking for jobs. So I thought I offer this. I also have professional coaching training. What that means is I'm looking at the whole person, and I'm, very much focused on self-alignment and your own self-presentation as a career strategy, because this way it comes, your messages will come across more organic and more resonant and confident. So it's worked well with people, with my clients. So today, again, I'm going to inform you and up your confidence to network. We'll talk about the mindset. And before you play with your profiles, there's one thing you need to do, and then different parts of the LinkedIn profile and some common questions. Okay, so in terms of the mindset, so LinkedIn has evolved. For some of us who were actually around when LinkedIn first started, it was, it was something that's very serious. You got to be professional. Not that you don't have to be now, but it's, relaxed a bit. Used to be like, let's just copy parts of our resumes onto LinkedIn profile, and there you go. That's your LinkedIn profile. But since then, it's become more personal. It's a portfolio of your, documentation, as well as your posts, your, videos, media, things like that. There are places where you can, link to organizations, causes that you care about, you're volunteering. So it's become more holistic and it represents the whole person. I've also read this article on best practices, and somebody surveyed over 5,000 LinkedIn users, and most of them, 75% said they prefer to see the word I. And that's a huge change compared to how I used to know LinkedIn. So feel free to relax a little bit and use the word I do this, I do that. It also puts you into the mindset of being active. Use your action verbs, right? Instead of saying responsible for, you could say I managed, I implemented. So the challenge becomes conveying more with less. So again, we all have busy lives. People are quick, in terms of looking at LinkedIn profiles. So think about your own experience. How much time would you actually spend on looking at somebody's profile? And I would say this, unless it's interesting, you don't necessarily keep reading. But if it is interesting, you would want to know more about the person. So, in terms of writing your hook and your about section, your headline, there's some strategy around there. I consider the LinkedIn profile process a two-stage, situation. One is organizing your latest info, and that involves self-assessment. And this is so related to career coaching. The skills that you have performed, what did you accomplish? What did you learn from these different experiences, right? And then the second piece is, as you network, do research online, find out what is important in the next field of your interest. You can, present yourself in a certain way. So that has to do with your personal branding. So again, self-assess what you have done so far, and then figure out what is needed in the field in your next, employer, of your next employer or of your clients, if you're building a practice, or when you're in a workplace, what is important now in your workplace? And then shape it accordingly. So something to consider is when you're looking, when you're planning your LinkedIn profile, 3 things that people should remember after seeing your profile. And perhaps, in this workshop, you can also write that down. 3 things that you want people to remember after they see your profile. Okay, before you start playing with your profile, this is important. Make sure that the visibility of your profile change is off. So in your profile on the toolbar, it's like near the top right-hand side, there's a little circle of your picture. Click on me, there's a drop-down menu. Go to, setting, privacy, visibility, and then turn off your LinkedIn activity to your network. So for now, turn it off while you polish. And then you could decide whether you want to turn it back on when you add a new job or a new activity or whatever it is. So otherwise, everybody's going to see every little change you make, and that feels kind of stressful. Okay, so the profile picture, less than 3 years old, or 3-year-old, I should say, and smile, have neat appearance, zoom in on the face, because often people will kind of zoom out and you can see, well, where's the person? So it's helpful to smile and be upfront. There are AI tools you can use to generate background, nice, background for your profiles and other pictures. So LinkedIn actually had this article. And then the banner, some people leave it blank. I like, putting something pleasant or inspiring or relevant to your field or your interest, things like that. So, get creative and also let yourself express who you are a bit. So there are other tools you can use for LinkedIn's banner, that's called. So you could Google and you'll find LinkedIn's own articles with the list of tools, or banners using AI. Use your own picture. I actually use my own picture. It's a beautiful view of the Rocky Mountains and a river, a cliff. Yeah. So and then you can also go to canva.com. I think probably everybody knows what Canva is. And that's a free service if you just sign up for a personal account, and you can make LinkedIn banners. So I just made this one here, hello, let's connect. Okay, so the name, your name and URL. Make sure it's easy to search or to find. So I've been playing with my name and certification. So I feel like the comma kind of had something to do with the search. So I got rid of the comma. So it feels easier to find because I talk to a lot of clients and they'll go, where's your profile? And I'm like, I'm right there. I'm right there. So there's that. And also make sure you get a custom URL with your name in it instead of having it randomly generated by LinkedIn. And you can do this. The switch is also near the top right-hand corner. And there's a little pencil for editing. You know, you could see your URL and you can hit edit. And when you hit that, you know, public profile and URL, you can edit your URL. And if it's, you know, taken by someone, then try to be creative and still keep your name in the URL. And also, that's where the switch is for your public profile. So you can also turn on and off in terms of the details of your job. If you just want people to see your job title and employer and dates, you can do that. You can turn off things that are in the past, so you can only show your current job if you wanted to, or current experience. So there are different combinations of things that you can play with. And again, this is your profile. You need to feel comfortable with it. So, and I know, you know, we could say, oh, well, what's the strategy? Strategy is to make sure you have the keywords so that it can be picked up by LinkedIn's analytics, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But, and also what's the impression you want to create. Okay, tagline, be creative. I, you know, have a client who said he's a trailblazer in his field. I said, awesome, put that, you know, on your tagline, or it's called headline, right? So, so for me, it's, you know, Sue Wang, PCC, CPCC, and then I said, manifest with grit. That's a message I want to put out there. And also career success through self-alignment. I feel very personal and loyal to those two messages. Now, for you, you know, you can use ChatGPT to help you brainstorm. So ChatGPT is a great tool for brainstorming, and be really careful about putting in personal information. I wouldn't, you know, make sure you don't do it. Just don't do it, because it goes into cyberspace and who knows, right? But great for brainstorming. Like I just said, you know, come up with a great title or tagline for a top marketing manager. And this is, you know, this is what it generated. And I think I asked for that has to do with AI. So summarize your work or benefits that you bring. Help mature job seekers land opportunities. That is very clear. And as you know, the tagline in LinkedIn, it travels with you with your name, right? So those two go together. Whenever you post something, both of those things will show up, your name and this tagline. So this is great branding or marketing for yourself. And to me, it's like you're putting your energy out there. So, you know, pick something that resonates with you. And then the one that ChatGPT came up with, it's a little long, but I said, okay, lots of software engineers are looking for a job. You know, what's a good, you know, tagline for LinkedIn for a software engineer? And this is what it came up with. So, and also company name, if it's known in the field. So Uber, eBay, PayPal, you know, Amazon, those X, whatever it is. So that, you know, people who recognize the company or have worked there, you know, again, you want to appeal to commonalities when you're networking. So it could be a school that you went to, somebody who felt very passionate about USC's MBA program. So she put that in her tagline. So also consider this, right? How does it represent you? And again, where do you want to go next? And what do people need to see? Okay, and then the about section. Use it. I actually saw some clients who didn't even have an about section. please add the about section, because that's where people will go to read about your background. Many of us have had a lot of experiences. So the about section really summarizes the experience. So use it. It is the first thing, one of the first things that people read. So it frames the conversation, create that impression. How can you contribute, or the benefit that your services bring? So I'm using this outline for a job seeker or a networker, right? I am a blah, blah, blah professional with XYZ skills, seeking job function or role in these fields. That frames it. And then this is what is missing in many about sections, but I like it a lot. And when I show it to clients, they love it. 3 things that you love about what you do. Like, this is your why. This is your passion. Why do you love, product management for a tech company? Like, what do you love that? 3 things that you do really well. What makes you unique, right? Think about, why people come to you when you work. Like, you're the one who can solve a certain kind of problem. You're the one who can bring the team together. You're the one who, creates a vision for the department. Feel free to be creative, be expressive, and you can always get feedback from a colleague. And also, people that you follow, your mentors, your bosses, look at how they represent their about section or their entire profile. And you'll see, oh, I like, how this is put. This is also a section where career changers can connect the current situation to the future role. If you want to switch into something else, what is the connection? And the connection is you. So this is where you get to talk about your values. I used to do this, and now I'm doing this. And this is why, why it makes sense. And you want to make that connection for readers and employers, whoever you're networking with, interviewing with. You want to make it really easy for them to see the connection. And this is where, potentially you need to talk to somebody, a coach, a career counselor, a trusted friend. Help me figure out what the connection is. Because, right, again, we don't have a lot of time, and whoever makes it easiest for people to get that understanding is going to communicate better. So the about section, you can also use the summary section from your resume. So nowadays there's a summary section on the resume. Again, summarizing your background and why you're interested in this job or role. So I think those are kind of interchangeable. Or if you come up with the great about section, you can potentially use it for your resume summary. Okay, so that's about section. Next one is the experience section, and that's like a huge chunk of your LinkedIn profile. So keywords, right? In your field, in your job function, what keywords are important? And certainly you make sure you have performed them so you could put them on your LinkedIn profile, and use ChatGPT to brainstorm. What are the key skills for a program manager? It'll spit things out. And sometimes you go, oh yeah, I do that. I forgot I do that. Great. Got the keyword. Focus on accomplishments and projects completed. Because again, we all have short attention span. When you focus on a project, things like leadership, teamwork, management skills, numbers, whatever, it will come out. People will infer that. So you don't need to say, I had leadership skill, I had this, I had that, I had that. It's too wordy. So use numbers, percentage change to showcase your impact. revenue changes, and some people will say, well, I can't divulge private information, which is okay. You could say multi-million dollar, let a multi-million dollar roll out of this new app for a blah, blah, blah company. And that's totally okay. And some people say, well, I'm not near the revenue people. Okay, when you focus on the processes, then talk about the timelines, size of the staff, the deadlines you have met, improvements you made. So to focus on the impact. And you probably have heard of the STAR method: situation, task, action, and results. That's also another way to write out your accomplishments in your, job description. And actually, don't put job description, because that doesn't involve a lot of these. It doesn't involve the impact, right? So, but I mean, like the bullets under your experience. Talk about the impact you've had. LinkedIn skills. This is something new. It's now up to 100. When you put in a job listing and describe the job, the impact that you made, LinkedIn will ask you the kinds of skills that you used. So feel free to tag, whatever it is that you did, right? Financial analysis, use Tableau, whatever. So you can associate different skill sets with different jobs, and sometimes they overlap, which is fine. So your first level connections can endure those skills, and those get weighted. And the other thing is LinkedIn is collecting this information and selling it to recruiters. So, they can search people with this skill, that skill. I'm going to be able to, source candidates that way. And also, by the way, LinkedIn as a default shows the five latest experiences on the phone and also on a desktop. So I just checked that. So also strategically, what 5 experiences do you want people to see? And obviously, dates matter, so we'll talk about that too. Okay, other sections. There's an education section. It's okay to leave out dates, licenses, and certifications, date those if that's helpful. Recommendations, request while fresh, right? If you had a client who was really happy with your work, ask them for a recommendation. Or you just left a job and have great relationship, ask for a recommendation. And also, give back a bit, give them too. We're helping each other, and this is important, mission for networking. Okay, and then you could add organizations, interests, causes, volunteer, that's another one. And so you're giving people this, nice holistic picture of your background. And I actually read in that same article about LinkedIn users that people like to see fun facts. And, if there are some HR colleagues here, I would love to hear how that land with them. And just because of features out there doesn't mean you have to use it. But if there's something that's really important to you, like you are a concert pianist and you're also a programmer, I would put that there. I think that's a nice conversation starter too. So for service providers, there's this feature called Creator Mode, and you can create a whole service page on it, and also hashtags of 5 topics that you talk about. And we got an email recently saying that that's going to be merged into all profiles soon. So, so again, opportunities for highlight things that, topics and the kind of work that you care about. At the same time, you do have to pay attention and maintain them and make sure it's all, updated and accurate. For service providers too, you could create your own company page. And I created, a couple for me. because I like the logos. I like to have my own logos for the company, my practice, to tag to, as opposed to just like a kind of a blank default icon that LinkedIn, gives you. But you have to maintain another page. So consider what you're, willing to do, and what works for you. Okay, common questions, mature job seekers. So we get this question a lot. We can't delete dates from organizations on LinkedIn, unfortunately, and keep it. So they make it a requirement that you need to put in the dates there. So a few kind of workarounds. One is you can delete those and list them as projects. So title, whatever you did, and then the company, city, state. And if you, delete that experience, you will lose the connections to that organization or, to those companies. So this is up to you. I think eventually people will know your age, and I'm more of the school that be yourself, hold yourself out with your strength and all your expertise, and show up that way. And as an experiment, I did delete my, 1990s jobs, because I worked for the same company twice, MIT. So I have the connections from one entry. But I did put one job, advisors to students of Asian descent at Wellesley College, as a project. So you'll see that on my profile if you want to see what it looks like. So basically you will see the 5 experiences, most recent experiences, and then the project. It kind of gets highlighted. So figure out how you want to appear. And also, if you did a huge project, in a job, you could still list the job and then list the project separately to highlight it. And you can then connect that project to that role you had. And it'll also, LinkedIn will ask you, what kinds of skills did you use? So there's that too. Okay, gaps. I was like almost too excited to find that this is also a new section. So there, under ad section, LinkedIn now breaks it down to core, recommended, and additional. And under core, you can pick career break. And in career break, there are all kinds of choices, including layoffs, parenting, bereavement, career transition, travel, volunteering. And then you could put the dates in. And so this is kind of new. So again, see your comfort level. Layoffs are not unusual now, unfortunately. And so if you have to shift, it's okay to put that there. Or, if you need to represent that, it's okay to put that as a career break. I think LinkedIn is trying to make the records more accurate so that they can search properly. And so, because sometimes people will say, well, I don't want to talk, I don't want to come across as I don't have a job right now. So in terms of the job end date, I will say it depends on your comfort level, but take less than 6 months to update that, because eventually you're going to have to update it. And also, as you know, when we get hired, there are background checks. So you need to be accurate on your resume, and also representations to the new employer anyway. But I understand that people want to go, well, I want to look a certain way, so I'm, more like desirable because I still have a job. And I feel like that's less and less of an issue or an advantage. Okay, in terms of open to work, there are debates all the time between career coaches and whoever. Again, your comfort level, you can put that on your profile picture, or you can say open to, on your LinkedIn profile and then say recruiters. So you don't have to slap this hashtag on your picture if you don't want to. But some people are like, hey, I'm job searching, go for it. Here I am. So this feature would also be searched by recruiters. Okay, and again, career changers, you must make sense of your pivot first before you let other people, consider how do you, how are you from this field, now you want to go to the next field. And so again, use LinkedIn, the about section for that purpose. Okay, and that comes to the conclusion of our presentation today. I want to thank you for being here, and I am running a 6-week mastery program for 15 people starting February 20th to give support and create, a environment for people to build confidence in the job search. So I will talk about 6 different job search topics, and more information is on my website, suewang.coach. And I also do one-on-one career coaching if you want accountability and sounding board.